dominated by the Kalahari. Flat, dusty, endless. For most of the year, its surface is without water. So, water is priceless. It forces domesticated and wild animals to compete. The barren Batete River forms the western boundary of the Makgadikgadi Basin, a vast sea of arid grasslands and salt pans. Makgadikgadi is a land of extremes. When the rains come, the salt pans fill with water, and prairie-like grasslands are renewed. Southern Africa's greatest free-ranging herds of wildebeest and zebra spread out across the basin, and memories of the drought evaporate on the cool breeze. The Okavango River rises in the highlands of Angola and eventually flows into northwest Botswana. It is the last of the great rivers still to flow into the ancient lake basin of Makgadikgadi. The Jand River transforms the Kalahari into fertile swamplands, but never reaches the sea. Most of the water evaporates or is swallowed by the sand. The river breaks into many channels that fan out to form an inland delta. Only one channel escapes the delta and flows into the Kalahari beyond, the Batete Channel. Most years, a tiny percentage of floodwater makes it to the channel. Sometimes, nothing at all. This region of Botswana is the bed of one of Africa's greatest ancient lakes, Makgadikgadi. The Batete Channel connects the Okavango Delta to the vast Makgadikgadi soda pans, where the ancient lake finally disappeared. Today, the only regular water supply into this region comes from the Okavango. The water hasn't reached beyond the delta in the last 7 years, and the last pools in the channel are slowly drying up. This herd of hippopotamus watches their pool shrink year on year, waiting for the floods to come. Now they rely on the government tanker to keep their wallow wet. But it's not just hippos that need water. Small villages surrounding the channel also rely on its supply. Thornbush fences help protect the villagers' wells from wandering wildlife. Dark spots on the hippo's skin reveal escaping sweat. Hippos lose a great deal of water through their skin and must stay cool in the heat of the day. If the hole dries up, they'll have to move on or die. From the air, a mosaic of wells shows the impact of the villagers and their animals on the dusty bed of the channel. The marabou stork feeds on carrion. For this bird, drought is a time of plenty. All life in the channel is in search of water. Wild and domesticated animals are forced into uneasy and unnatural association. Storks scavenge the dried-up pools, feeding on the remains of stranded catfish. There's plenty of carrion to be found in these desperate times. fishes can access water beneath the channel from their wells, but their protective thornbush fences are not always effective. During the night, 2 young hippos fell into a well, drawn by the prospect of fresh water. So has a cow. The cow was pregnant and gave birth on top of the hippos. The farmer and officials are desperate to at least save the calf. Cattle are a symbol of wealth, and farmers can't afford to lose them to the wells. The hippos must be under great stress, but fortunately for everyone, they remain calm. Wildlife officials are keen to see that the hippos are safely released, and the farmer needs to get them out of the well before he can release his cow. The pressure on these wild animals must be intolerable. But survival takes precedence over everything else. The government decided to withdraw the tanker in the hope that the hippos would move back to the swamp 60 miles away. But the hippos remained, sustained by natural water seepage and limited grass nearby. Once the surface water was gone, the competition with domestic animals ceased. A few seepage pools, scattered along the 250 miles of the Batetis dry channel, are all that's left of previous floodwaters. Remarkably, this pool is home to a large Nile crocodile and a saddlebill stork. Each year, the fish are concentrated into a smaller and smaller area, and the stork has an easy time picking them off. The crocodile has survived for 7 years, waiting for the river to return. During this time, it has protected itself in a deep burrow it has dug in the bank. Occasionally, it catches a meal at the edge of the pool. These impala have come down from the Makgadikgadi National Park. Any surface water draws in wildlife from a very wide area. This is the only permanent surface water for thousands of square miles, and people depend on it. But at this point, the riverbed forms a boundary between the national park on the east and the villagers' lands in the west. The unmarked boundary runs down the middle of the channel. In times of drought, animals must be resourceful and sometimes adopt unusual tactics to survive. Amazingly, a cave high up the bank is littered with hippopotamus dung. The hippo must have struggled up the bank to shade itself from the sun once its pool had dried. But without water, the hippo couldn't survive for long. Not far away, there is a pool that still has water, but it's barely fit for life. The blood-red color comes from algae that thrives on hippo dung and poisons the water. Nothing else can live in it or drink it. Desert-adapted sandgrass specialize in dry areas, but still need fresh water to drink. They'll fly up to 50 miles in search of a clean pool, no matter how small. While they're here, they soak special absorbent breast feathers in the water to carry droplets back to their chicks in the desert. As the channel runs alongside the park towards the Makgadikgadi salt pans, the seepage pools become few and far between, until they disappear altogether. Great seas of arid grassland lie between the channel and the salt pans. These grasslands support massive free-ranging herds of grazers, especially wildebeest and zebra. In the dry season, the herds are forced to live along the edge of the channel because it provides their only source of water. They visit it in their thousands. descending at a time to drink. The pateti is a lifeline for most of the large grazing animals of the Makgadikgadi National Park. Even though its sandy riverbed offers little, these grazers have no other choice. Scavengers follow the wanderings of the grazers as the drought takes its toll. In the channel, the concentration of animals provides a captive audience. Competition for water becomes intense. Of an African safari, and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised. Good afternoon and welcome to, well, a bit of a macabre start to the afternoon as Tucky drags her kill. But what an epic way to kick off our afternoon safari. She is highly mobile with her carcass. Not that there is that much left, but I have a funny feeling I know exactly where she's going, which is a big marula tree, which she's going to go and hang it in, I hope.
My name is Tristan. On camera I've got David, and we are coming to you live from South Africa, which means hashtag Safari Live on Twitter or on the YouTube stream. If you would like to get hold of us in any way, if you want to ask any questions, or if you want to just have any comments that you've got. Now, I'm pretty sure she's heading to the Marula just on my left-hand side here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of a kind of gap around her, because I'm pretty sure she's mobile towards there. I just also need to let the guys know that we found her. Yeah, afternoon tax, I've just relocated Tandi. She is mobile with the carcass towards a big Marula, so if you forgot Jumbo, you might get her going up. So just letting them know exactly where she is. But look at the strength and the power of her. She's dragging this seriously well. Now I'm going to get us into a prime position, because I think this Marula tree right in front is where she's about to go. There's a nice perfect branch there for her to balance herself on and lie on and put her big belly on when she's tired. I'm surprised that we haven't seen little fat cat Kalalamba coming from behind getting involved in the dragging of this, but it seems as though she might be sleeping in a food coma, because she was going to town earlier. David was saying to me earlier that she was eating quite a bit this morning and dragging the carcass around. So I wonder if she's not maybe just had a lot to eat and is just resting. It's an interesting kind of weather. It's not cold, it's not hot. Now, sorry, the guys are just calling me on the radio. Yeah, tax just comes central, and then I'll give you a shout when you turn south, but she's almost at the tree, so you need to move quite quickly. So here she goes. She's going to go right to that Marula. Look at that. Now, it's incredible to have watched her. She is seriously intelligent. So what she's done is she spent the entire day in a thicket where she is hidden that carcass from things like vultures, Bateleur eagles, tawny eagles, so as they have not found her. Now that it's starting to get later in the day, there's a cold front blowing in, it's cloudy, it's cold, she's now going to take it and she's going to pop it into a Marula where it's going to be out of the way of the nocturnal predators, but in a place where it's going to be a lot more comfortable to lie. The trees that she took it to earlier, well, those were spindly and spiny and not good, and they would have really hurt her to try and go up there and down, and she wouldn't have had a place to rest if the hyenas came in. This Marula tree, on the other hand, has got two perfect branches for not only her, but little Kalalamba too. Now look at this, she's going to go up, I'm pretty sure of it. She's just going to drop it there at the base. She'll catch her breath, muster her strength. Look, now watch the power if she goes up. Even though that carcass has really been fed on quite a bit, she's definitely going to still struggle with it going up, and it still weighs probably about what she weighs. So she's going to take double her body weight up into that tree. It's going to be spectacular. Now, she might hold off for a little bit. She's obviously dragged it quite far. I think we've probably gone about 80 meters, maybe even more, maybe 100 meters. And so it's interesting just to kind of see how she's going about it and which tree she actually chose. Wonder if she's going to go up. I hope so. Shame, girl, are you tired? You can see she's panting quite heavily. There, she's grabbed it. Here we go, here we go. There we go, look at this, watch. Look at that strength and power. Isn't that incredible? Now that branch is too low, she knows that, so she's going to take it that little bit further, and look at that. That is spectacular. Wow. Power and poise and experience right there. She really has just shown how an experienced female leopard goes about her business in order to get a carcass up into a tree. Absolutely phenomenal. And where she's dragged it now is perfect. The hyenas won't be able to get it there. Nice comfortable branch, and then you can see that she's got just below to her to the right. Look at that little bow in the branch. That's perfect for a leopard's fat tummy when it's lying on the branch itself. So she's going to be in a perfect place to get herself sorted. Now, we couldn't have asked for anything more than that. Absolutely amazing. Now, what a beautiful tree she's chosen as well. Now, Tax and Rex are going to join us, so I'm sure she's going to probably feed a little bit, and then normally what they do is once they've fed a little bit, they'll then just go down, and they'll go and lie down on a branch and rest, and I'm pretty sure that bottom right branch is where she's going to spend her afternoon. I'm very surprised that Kalalamba has not followed in any way. We might actually even see her chuffing a little bit in order to get little Kalalamba to come towards where the tree is, but how cool is that, guys? We were in the perfect position to see that. What a way to start the afternoon. Anyway, we're going to see what Tandi gets up to for the course of the afternoon, where the Kalalamba arrives. But one thing that should arrive later is hyenas, and Jamie up in the Masai Mara has got a well, I think, the North Clan, which should be making her smile from ear to ear.
What an epic start to our sunset safari. Well done, Tristan. So we're here in the Masai Mara, and I'm sorry to take you away from that special moment, but it's just for a very quick hello because I'm going to have to leave here shortly. My name is Jamie, and this afternoon Archie is on camera with me, and you might have noticed a truly dramatic change in landscape. If you're new to these live safaris, that's because we're in the Masai Mara of Kenya. And I just wanted to spend a little bit of time with you at North Clan's natal den. I was hoping that the cubs were going to come out. We're sharing time with North Clan's den at the moment with another group of filmmakers. So I thought I would pop here quickly at the very start of the sunset safari to show you them in the hope that the cubs would come out, because obviously we don't want to over-pressurize these hyenas. There are 2 sets of little ones, and then it looks like, with Sloth Bear's continued presence, that's him over there scratching his face, he is a now 6-month-old cub. It looks like this has become the communal den as well. But here's what's even more interesting. Those are his big sisters. One of them is Polar Bear, and we know that she has cubs. The one behind her is Teddy Bear and her youngest sister, and we think, well, I think, that she might just have cubs in here as well. So we're really well and truly getting the start of this cub boom that happens as the migration arrives. So I just wanted to spend a little bit of time with him and to let you know what seems to be unfolding. We've got a full family here. The oldest sister lifted her head, that was Polar, her younger sister Teddy Bear, and their youngest brother, Sloth Bear. Lovely family reunion. And then Waffles is here, but she's completely invisible. She brought the cub out for the briefest moment a few hours ago, and then they ducked back below ground, probably because they're very, very nervous. The researchers tell me that one of the Musketeer coalitions, one of the big male lions in the same coalition as Scar, actually came through and tried to attack the den site last night. So they're a little bit on edge, a little bit nervous, and it might take them some time to recover from that shock. Remember how we've spoken about the fact that male lions are a serious threat to hyenas. From here, the plan is to see if we can find the Olololo Pride. That's what we're going to go and see. Now, I didn't want to keep you away from the dramatics unfolding on Djuma. Let's go and see whether Tlalamba answers Mom's call.
Well, Tani has been chuffing and calling and been up in the tree. She was looking down to where Tlalamba was, and she's now just bounced out. So she's done her job. She's put the carcass away safely, and now I think she's going to go back and try and find the little one who was somewhere down in that area. This is how far she's going to walk, where she's already dragged this carcass. It's pretty incredible to see how much strength the leopard has got. You must understand that that carcass is not a smooth object that pushes with wheels. It's not like pushing a little trolley in a supermarket. That thing is being caught on branches. It's heavy, it's awkward, and yet she's dragged it all the way that she's walking now. I mean, this is only halfway. We're not even actually halfway from where she started, and she's taken it from there all the way to this tree, which is quite unbelievable. Now, I'm going to try and follow her so that we can actually see her reunite with little Tlalamba, because it'll be nice to see her kind of join back up once again. They obviously, have been together most of the day, which means that they really don't have too much of a stress and don't have to worry too much. So Rex is going to go round a little bit, which is cool. So we'll just try and slide in here. So it's not that she's panicked or anything like that, but she just wants to probably show Tlalamba, look, this is where the kill is at. This is where you need to kind of go. But amazing strength and power that we witness. You can see she's still going, and that's a long, 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 long way to be able to drag a carcass. It really is quite something. Oh, there's little Tlalamba. I can see her now. So she's just basically coming up towards Mom. We should get a nice little reunion between the two of them. How amazing is this? What a way to start. So I'm going to just stop here because little Tlalamba is now looking in all the trees. So she's going to come straight to where Mom is. Mom is going to wait for her, and then the two of them should turn and go straight back to where the carcass is. Look at this. Hey, little girl. She's so cool. Now Tanya's turned already and coming straight back towards us, which is absolutely amazing. It really is quite special to have these two. around and in this area. They are amazing cats, and to have Tandy kind of spend as much time as she has lately with us has really been quite. There comes little Tlalamba. She's a little bit more cautious as to what's going on. She's decided that she's just going to check everything out. There's Mom has found herself a little prize piece of meat that she picked up. And so obviously from when she dragged it, this is the way that she dragged, that she obviously dropped a little piece or it broke off, and so she's going to go very proudly go and find herself a spot to munch down on that. Little Tlalamba will follow Mom and just kind of head off into the thicket with her, which will be very cool. So Francis, you say Tlalamba dragging the kill this morning was hilarious. Well, she looked as though she did a good job from what I saw. I mean, David showed me a few videos of it. She seems as though, even though she's small, she was able to drag it around a little bit. I mean, obviously, if that Impala was a full piece of meat, there's no ways that she would have been able to. She's just too little at this stage. But she still did a good job, and at least that instinct is there, that she knows to drag to a thicket, drag it under cover before then, trying to look up into trees and those kind of things. And the instinct also with her mom is to look up into trees when Mom arrives. It's quite interesting actually to watch her. So it's kind of that trained behavior that when Mom arrives, sometimes there's going to be a carcass in trees, and so she looks up in all the trees just to see where they are. But let's see if the two of them are going to sit together. Now, obviously when there's food involved, generally Mom can be a little bit on the grumpy side. So let's have a little look. She's decided that she's going to move off for now. Still not 100% confident around too many cars as little Tlalamba. She's quite fine when there's one car around, or even two, but at threes, sometimes she gets a little bit like, I'm not quite sure, especially if they're all moving at once, then she kind of gets a little bit nervous about it. So still need to kind of get her used to everybody, and she's gotten a whole lot better than when she was a tiny cub. But with time, we should start to see her being just fine. Now, Tandy, what I'm pretty sure she's going to go do is just going to go and do a little bit of a cleanup. She's just going to make sure that there isn't any other bits that have dropped that maybe a hyena can come and find. You might find her just scraping some soil around where they fed for most of the day. That's exactly where we found her now, where she's gone and is sniffing. That's where the carcass was. And so she might just check that out, find if there's any pieces, eat those. If there's nothing there, just scrape a bit of sand around there just to stop the hyenas kind of finding her that easily. Also, she might know that there's a few little pieces that have dropped down. You can see she's found something there that she's just hoovering up. It was very interesting to me that this morning she went back to where we were and where we looked at the liver and the stomach content and all of that, and that she actually went back and ate all of that. I'm quite surprised, even with the fact that we had been sitting there in the scent of us standing there, that she didn't mind actually feeding there as quickly as she did. I would have imagined she would have gone back there during the course of the day, but it was almost immediately after we left, she went back to that area and ate all of that stuff. Right. Now, we have had the most ridiculous start with two of our spotted cats here in the Sabi Sands, and it just seems as though it's going to be one of those days because, well, James is sitting with the semi-awake Osana.
Yes, he is let me see, shall we start that again? Yes, he is semi-awake. He hasn't been awake. He's been fast asleep. I feel like we've been on drive for hours, but of course this is the first time this is today because there's been so much reaction everywhere else. That is Osama the male leopard. He is 2.5 years old. And it is, of course, marvellous to have 3 leopards on game drive already. You might just hear in the background. No, it's stopped now. There is a monkey calling, alarm calling at Osana. They're dissatisfied with the fact that there is a leopard sitting so close. Is the monkey still there? He's still there. He's at the top of the tree. There we go. Good. So, you would have seen that. My name is James Hendry. It's nice to have you with us here on the Sunset Safari. And, of course, we'd love to hear from you using the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, and, of course, the chat stream on YouTube. You can send us any questions or comments you'd like to. I've been asking lately for insults and jokes. You can still send those too if you would like to. I'll make insults relatively gentle to start with. I'll ramp them up towards the end or the afternoon. Now, that's quite interesting. Let's just have a look at what this little fella's eating. I think he's probably in the process of eating some fresh flowers. Yep. Looks like some new Northorn flowers on the top of that tree. Like I often say, I just cannot understand sits in thorns like that. They have got unbelievably, I suppose, tough skin and an ability to deal with pain far in excess of our own. I'm sure there is a relative cuteness about monkeys, but I've got to tell you, I vacillate between being impressed with their cuteness and deeply irritated with their thieving natures. I've got a couple that are hanging around camp at the moment, and one helped itself to a burger at brunch today, took a roll out, spread some mayonnaise on it, put a patty on, added some lettuce, a bit of tomato, a bit of cheese, took one of the vegetarian patties, which was a mushroom, and then settled into eating it on the roof. All of that happened in about 3.5 seconds before we had a chance to chase it away. Now it's going ballistic because Horsala is now starting to move. Let's go back to the leopard. He's now starting to move slightly. There he goes. I think he's tired of listening to the beastly monkey shouting at him. Of course, there's no reason the monkey shouldn't shout at him. There we go. Now, he's got quite a portly belly at the moment. He did eat quite a lot of Inyala before his father lifted it off him. There we go. And he's got his tail up, as if to say, I'm no threat. I've told you that before, of course. The only thing that is alarm calling at it now, other than the monkey, is a few guinea fowl which are just over there down in this little dry dam, and they're going. Oh yes, definitely, Jeffrey. A monkey would definitely be on a leopard's menu. They like to eat monkeys. Monkeys are delicious to them, but they're not easy to catch. They normally live in troops. That little fellow's on his own there, so I can only think that he's probably a male come into maturity and is being excluded from the troop. You'll have to go and find another troop to live in. But they're definitely on a leopard's menu, especially a young male leopard like this. But quite often, older, more experienced leopards won't bother with things like monkeys. They will eat them from time to time, but not all the time. And I have heard that if a monkey is actually caught by a leopard or a dog or something like that, they are able to defend themselves with tremendous speed, scratching and biting, and they're a ball of terror. Now I think this cat is going to follow his normal line, which is down into this drainage system, which is pretty easy, and then along the tambuti groves that line the western side of the riverbed. Very lazy. I think he's just tired of the monkey, perhaps. He'll find a nice shady spot. Karen, a large bird would definitely take a monkey from a tree. Possibly not in this area at this time. Crowned eagles are the ones that normally like to take monkeys, and there aren't any crowned eagles living in this area, so it wouldn't surprise me to see one in another area taking a monkey like that. But out here, I can't think of a bird that would have the capability to take a monkey. It's not easy to do, very difficult, in fact. Oh, it's bumpy, yes, it's bumpy. Yes, he's doing exactly as predicted. I'm pretty sure he's going to disappear into these tambuti thickets, but we'll try and keep up with him. We've managed over the last few days. We don't have any air support today, unfortunately. It's the best way to keep up with leopards, going through thickets. Alright, I think let's go back to Jamie now, who seems to be on the search for her own animals. I'm sad she's had to leave the North Clan natal den, but let's see what else she has for you.
Jamie in the Mara, who is searching for the Olololos. So here's the story behind that. The Olololo is The Olololos are a pride of lions that get their name from their territory, which is towards the Olololo Gate and the Olololo Escarpment, which is that way. Last year when we got to know those 4 females, they raised 13 cubs pretty much underneath along the road that goes up to Angama Mara, the camp next to us, and to our camp. Yesterday evening, 16 lions were probably about 25 kilometers outside of their normal territory, walking this way away from their territory. Why? And did they stay? Because what that means, those females have got, admittedly no longer 13, 12 young lions to keep fed. Those lions are now a year and a half old. I think they heard the call of the migration, and because it's not making its way up to that top northern corner, I think they've decided to take matters into their own hands, so to speak. And they've come this way. What that means for the Owindos, the sausages, for any lion pride, will be interesting to watch. Those cubs are not quite out of harm's way yet, though. The females have taken them into the territory of Kipuli and his 2 young boys. It'll be very interesting to see how it plays out. Or they just went back again, which is entirely possible. It has not stopped raining. It's obviously not raining now, but it has been raining quite a bit. So any tracks that I might see on the road, they've been washed away. Tracking is difficult in the Mara, especially in high season with the amount of vehicles. But I am assuming that's where they're going. 16 lions shouldn't be that hard to find. I'd say with the greatest level of confidence. It's a big pride. Last year it was 4, now it's 16. Those females have done really well. But they've got to keep them fed, and they've got a lot of males, and their hearing is sensitive enough that they can hear that meh, 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 meh. Yvonne, I have absolutely no idea how Kinky Tail's doing or what injured her yet. Brent spent a little bit of time with them this morning, and then they went into the rocks, and he was unable to follow them, so I'm not with her at the moment, obviously. I suspect, well, I spoke to Brent earlier, he said he thinks it's a horn wound, maybe a buffalo, or potentially a wildebeest, maybe if she caught one at the wrong angle, but she's experienced enough, I think it was more likely to be a buffalo. And Brent says it doesn't even reach into the muscle layer. It looks horrible, but he thinks she'll be absolutely fine. So I'm not, you see, no, hold on. I said I couldn't see tracks, but I can see tracks. Hold on. Hold on. I hope no one's behind me. I can't see. I can see tracks. Easily. Very easily. Tracks that went off the road, and they went to North Clan. This would be from yesterday. And if I had to guess, I would say, because I'm looking at lots of tracks, I would say this is them. I was mistaken. I can see tracks. I'm not going to linger too long looking at those tracks. They're beautiful. I hope you took lots of screenshots. They didn't go that way. No, they're still here. I wonder if lions get scared when they start to move so far beyond the realms of the familiar. They must, within their territory and within their territorial knowledge, this is where they went off again, they must surely know there's a path here that I can run along, there's a bush here I can hide in, or whatever else. Backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards. Lovely tracks. Nice deep tracks. Wherever these lions are, I'm sure they're in the search of food. I think it's safe to say that Hasana has something similar on his mind.
He's stalking something, everybody. I've got no idea what it is. Oh. What's he got? He's got it. No, it's a squirrel. He's just caught a squirrel. Can you believe it? We've managed to see a kill. Unbelievable. Shame, poor little squirrel. Shame. Let's just wait here. That was Fergus shouting at me because I started the car like an idiot. There's no need for us to get closer. Oh, it's very seldom that I've seen one of those things taken out. I feel dreadful. He looks he looks a bit put out by his meal as well. Let's go ahead and see if he hoists it like Tundi hoisted Hercule. And that squirrel nearly got away. Oh, shame. Is that right, folks? Shame. Oh well, he's got to eat. At least this thing's too small for Hosanna to come and steal. I think he's just going to eat the whole thing. I know this is pretty disgusting. If you are a sensitive viewer, I suggest you look away. I think he's just going to eat it whole. Oh, that is foul. Well, you can safely say it's dead. Now, oh my goodness. Minamu, yes, they can digest the skin. They can't digest the teeth or the claws or the hair. And so all of the teeth and the claws and the hair will come out the other end. You can see the head is now gone. He's just going to eat the whole thing. Now, we're often wondering how on earth does he stay in such good condition when, we don't always see him on an impala or on a nyala or on something big. This is how. They do this all the time. Be it a scrub hare, a squirrel, whatever it may be. I mean, this thing, I can't believe it's even worth his while. He's trying desperately to I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to get at the organs but exclude the stomach contents because the stomach's a bit disgusting. This is called micro-eating, everybody. It's really, it's quite skillful. There we go. No, Xera, it's certainly not much of a meal. He's given up trying to separate. He's managed to separate most of the stomach. Now he swallowed the intestines. That's the stomach there. No, the intestines are still out. He's actually very cleverly managed to separate them. Now we're going with the front legs. I must reiterate again that I know this must be a little bit difficult for some people. There we go. Stomach is excluded entirely. Yeah, the stomach is dropped on the ground. I mean, that's unbelievably skillful. I suspect he'll drop the tail too. Yep. No. There it goes. Eating the tail. This is very black humour, I suppose. Macabre humour. He's smelling the insides now and deciding if he's going to eat the stomach and deciding that he doesn't think he will. How was that, boy? Is that nice? must come out, I suppose. Yeah, pretty quick. This is obviously not a result of this meal, everybody, and I don't think that it's a, I don't think it's a number 2 he's doing. Marvellous. Alright, well, Tlalamba, not too far from here, is alert. Let's see if she manages to, well, perform in the same skillful way.
Well, she's got a slightly different target on her mind because she's looking at rutting male impalas, which at her size is way beyond her capability at this stage. She will really not be able to get a rutting male impala, but that's not to say that she might not try stalk it. As you can see, she's working it out, and this is all good practice. Even if she doesn't get anywhere close and she misses, it's good that she practices and she tries to learn how to go about doing this. You can see there she's got her typical mom waddle that Thandi has, where she kind of moves her hips and carries on kind of slinking through the grass, and she's slowly but surely trying to worm her way closer towards those impalas, which will be wonderful to watch. It's going to be a very interesting process to see. Now I'm going to try and reposition because obviously can't see her very well, and we also can't see any impalas. The impalas are quite far away. Thandi is behind us still. She's kind of back on a little termite mound where that thicket is, and whereas Tlalamba is slowly making her way towards the carcass, so we just want to follow her because she, I'm hoping, is going to go up into the tree. She can't help herself. She's got a big tummy, and she's much like her older brother Hosana, who likes food, and it seems as though she's very much the same. And I've decided that while I was driving around today, is that Hosana is very much like Garfield. He's got this little tummy that he likes to kind of feed and make sure has constantly got food in it. Doesn't really like to move around too much, is quite happy just to stay in an immediate area, and as long as there's food and water, he's pretty happy and likes the company of others to some degree. I mean, obviously Garfield is a little bit grumpy at times, but Hosana is not like that. It's just that he has that same kind of demeanor of a little fat tummy and doing his own thing. And I think he's going to be the ruler of the leopard world at some point, so maybe that's how it would be. I wonder if he'd drink coffee. What do you think, David? I think so, maybe. Maybe you'd like a cup of coffee like Garfield would as well. Anyway, yes, it would be interesting if he likes Mondays. Well, he's showing up on it. Today is Monday, isn't it? Yes, today is Monday. So he's showing up on a Monday, which I suppose means that doesn't really care too much. I don't think he's fairly active today. He's got himself a little Monday squirrel, and no one minds a Monday squirrel, do they? I think a Monday squirrel is quite delightful if you're a cat. Look at that, isn't that cool? She really is growing up into a good-looking little girl. She's still got the ears much like most of Thandi's offspring have had. I don't know what it is about Thandi and why she produces offspring with such big ears, but she still has her big ear, or big ears, that she's going to grow into, but she's got such a serious little face already, and she's definitely inherited her mom's stare, because when she looks at you, even though she's quite cute and cuddly, can you imagine in a few years' time when she's a bit bigger, she'll have those same eyes that are piercing and able to kind of make sure that you know who's in charge of what's going on. So she's got a down pattern. Is such a cute little female, though. I'm thoroughly looking forward to seeing how she kind of goes and where she ends up settling later in life. Good. While we sit with her and see what she gets up to and whether or not she makes her way towards the parlor or the tree, let's send you back across to Jamie in the Masai Mara, who's got the zebras that, well, apparently are scratching themselves on some sort of rubbing post.
We interrupt your scheduled broadcast of what leopards get up to bring you the zebra scratching its bottom. We just had to share this with you. It's hilarious. Enjoy, is all I can really say. We've arrived at the burn, we've arrived at the migration, and we have found one zebra with a very, very itchy butt. Oh, we're done? Oh no, we're not done. Now we're going behind the ear. There we go, this perfect rubbing post, that tree. There we go, that's the spot right there. Right behind the ear. Get the cheek involved as well. Arm and neck. There we go, move on down. All the way along down. Oh, now the shoulder. There we go, that's it. Get rid of all those itchy parasites. Yep, we're watching you, buddy. Please don't be shy on our account. Oh, and then the other butt cheek. There we go. That's it. Lean in. That's proper technique. That's practice technique right there. Full body weight. Nice scratchy bark. The perfect spot. Needs a little readjusting there. Oh, better. Better? Much better. And what a shiny bottom it is now, too. That one looks like it could do with one. Nice good scratch, rub off all the dirt. I don't know about you, but I'm going to go with thinking that this is where the Olololos came to. Because if you look right across the rolling valleys of the Green Burn, you will see thousands upon thousands of ready meals waiting for them. And this is where and one eland thrown in for good measure. There's a lot of food here. Enough food, one might even suggest, to feed 16 or so odd lions. Any more? Oh, look, we've got another contender. Not another contender, another... Here we go. There we go. That's it. Okay, start with the left side. There seems to be there's an approach to this. First you start with the left, then you go to the right. Oh no, this one's breaking with tradition. We're going to start with the right properly. There we go. That's the other side of the log. Now we move to the shoulder. Oh, no. Oh, okay. Obviously not the itchiest zebra in the herd. Pisces says, watch out for those splinters. Absolutely. This is to be done with great care and attention. There we go, getting underneath the cheekbone. Or the jawbone, I mean. Oh, now the muscle of the neck. A strange feeling of deja vu. I have done a very similar narration about a year ago when the migration was last here. Except that time it was a sign, not a stump. Don't be shy. It's okay. Everyone has to scratch every now and again. You can carry on. Promise. Oh, Romans, it's a difficult one to answer. I always find those questions challenging when it comes to comparing sight or any senses, because we don't actually see through the animal's eyes or senses. We don't know exactly. But Roman, just from practical experience, I would say that impala have very, very good eyesight. Just try to sneak up on an impala. It's very difficult. What else? Giraffe have quite good eyesight. I've noticed wildebeest and zebra will also spot predators, and I'm pretty sure they're seeing them rather than necessarily hearing them. This one's seen something, but I don't think it's seen our lions. What else? I imagine the little antelope, although I think the little antelope are more geared towards listening than they are to looking, because they're so short that it really would serve them better to be able to hear something approaching rather than see it. Monkeys. Monkeys have spectacular eyesight, and baboons. That would be another good answer. They actually see very, very well. And of course, they've got the added advantage of being up high. We've already spoken about the fact that leopards could think of monkeys as potential prey. Well, I think the Olololos are here. This patch of gardenias, perhaps, although it seems filled with wildebeest at the moment. I'm not sure. It's also fascinating looking at the distribution of the migration. I'm looking at... Is there a car behind me? No. I'm going to show you the burnt area and the not burnt area, admittedly from quite far away. And you can get an idea of just how much animals love feeding on the fresh green grass after a burn. So the burn is actually split by the main road. Now, if you have a look from far away, on the left-hand side, that little loop in there is the long grass where the burn wasn't. It is divided by the road. This is where the burn is. Was. Okay, it's now green. Interesting, huh? Gary, do zebra ever get cross with other animals. Zebra get cross with pretty much anything. They're quite angry animals. They get cross with each other, largely. Kick each other, bite each other, fight each other. They can be very horrible to each other. I have seen them chase jackal. I've seen them chase hyena. I've seen them chase cheetah. Although all of those things sort of make sense because you want to, those are predators. I've seen them occasionally chase other antelope as well. So yes, zebra are quite grumpy animals, or can be quite grumpy animals. I've also been bitten by a zebra. Highly, highly unpleasant experience. Would not recommend. Like being bitten by a horse, I suppose. Just a wild one. The teeth are surprisingly sharp. Oh, so we might even get a kick here. Oh, so everybody's itchy today. It's after all the rain, I imagine. This one's... I don't know. I'm not sure that technique is the best technique. Who knows? Now, it sounds as though things are absolutely crazy on Djuma. I'm not even going to tell you what's happened with Tristan. You'll just have to see for yourselves.
Well, things are pretty insane. Well, we've got Tlalamba that's slowly coming back towards Tundi, but this is not the only approaching spotted pattern. Hosana is, I would say now, probably about 100 meters from where we are, slowly heading in this direction, and he's behind this termite mound, so Tundi won't see him until he's very close, which is going to be quite interesting. They're just kind of greeting each other now at the moment. I'm going to try and get us into a better position, because it seems as though there's a nice little gap here. I don't know how good this gap is going to be, David. How's that? Is that better? It's very a little bit higher now over the top of that bush, but look at that. Isn't that sweet? The two of them are just having a little greeting. Tlalamba's getting some love from Mom and making sure she's clean after her little escapade. She decided not to go up the tree. She decided rather to come back to Mom. And I wonder if those erupting impalas and squirrels that have alarm called here have not attracted Hosana into this area. Now you can see Tundi. She's just loving being grouped. Isn't that sweet? It's always so nice to see the softer side of Tundi when she's with this little Tlalamba. It's very, very cute. How's that? That's amazing. Hello, you two. Now, I'm pretty sure Hosana is going to make an appearance any time now, and who knows what that's going to mean for these two, because, well, we've got a carcass, which we know the last time there was a carcass, Hosana robbed Tundi and Tlalamba, and so this might be the carcass of thieves, because not only has it been robbed from wild dogs by these two, it might then be robbed from them by Hosana. We'll definitely not see a happy Tundi. She will probably chase Hosana around, but as we saw the last time, is that he's so much more bulky that he's pretty persistent in his way of trying to get closer and trying to actually steal food from these two. So I'm pretty sure he's going to end up, and after his carcass was stolen by Tingana, I suppose it's all got to go around. But look, Tandi's now aware that, hang on a second, something is not right here. They're still going to groom each other. She's very much kind of perked up there. I thought maybe she had smelt something. There's a bit of a breeze, as you can see by the flowers in the beginning, just blowing in the breeze. Now, I don't see any sign of Hosana. I don't know where he is in relation to us. He might bypass straight towards the tree, because obviously the tree itself is quite visible with that carcass in it, is much more so than what these two are, and I don't think he's going to want to go straight to them. Now, is he behind us? Okay, so Hosana is behind us, so we're going to take this onto various other platforms so that everybody gets a chance, and I'm going to just turn the car a little bit so we can actually see him, and while I do that, I'm going to hold off speaking. South Africa. We are coming to you live, and we're coming to you with a very special situation. What we've got is a beautiful female leopard that is sitting there. Her cub is just behind her in the form of Tlalamba. It's a little 9-month-old, or actually 10-month-old cub now. And the thing about this is, while it is very special to see one leopard, it's even more special to see two. But there is actually a third leopard that is coming here. It's gone up into the tree itself. So right in the distance, there's a third leopard that's busy stealing her kill. Look, there you go, you see him? So this is amazing. This is a young male leopard that has stolen the kill. Now, Tundi, who's going to go there, she is related to that male. She's the older sister of that particular boy, and it's going to be interesting to see what her reaction is. This is absolutely phenomenal. We've got two leopards walking right past us, a third leopard that's not far away. Absolutely insane. Now, I forgot to almost mention, my name is Tristan, and on camera I've got David, and this is live and interactive, so you can ask any questions you may have, post any comments that you have in the comment section below, and we'll try to get through as many as possible. Now, I'm pretty sure Tundi's going to head towards where this male leopard is. It's absolutely phenomenal that they've managed to find it. Now, this male leopard just killed a squirrel quite far from here and managed to eat that, and what's probably happened is he's probably smelt something or heard some alarm calls for this female leopard, and then on top of that has then also seen it in the tree because it's quite visible where it is. It's not a kill that she actually made, which is quite funny because it's the tail of the stolen carcass, because this particular carcass was actually stolen from wild dogs this morning by her, and now has been pilfered by a young male who's going to set himself up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to where the male is, because, well, these two will come and they'll follow us in this direction, but he's going to be sitting pretty. Once he's up in the tree like that, the female really has got no chance. She's not going to be able to chase him off. I can still see them. They're slowly coming through the gap, coming towards this area, but how incredible is this? 3 leopards in one sighting. We are very, very spoiled, that's for sure. Now look, you see he's noticed them now. So he thought he had found himself an easy meal where he didn't have to worry about another leopard, but now you can see he's spotted the other two, and it's going to be very interesting to see what his behavior is going to be now with these kind of other two around, whether or not he's going to worry. He doesn't look too concerned, he's just carrying on feeding. You can see the carcass is actually quite stripped already, and that's typical of wild dog kills. Wild dogs will strip carcasses like this, and then it was stolen, and the two leopards have fed off it through most of the day. We found it this morning, and so the two of them have really had a good feed, and both of them have got nice round bellies. But isn't that spectacular? How cool is that, guys? We've been very, very spoiled this afternoon. It is something incredible to witness. Like I say, 3 leopards together. It's really quite something. Now, April, you say Hosana is learning from his dad? Yes, he is. So those of you who don't know the background to this leopard family that we've got the female leopard Tundi and Tlalamba, which is the mom and cub behind us. Then this is the male leopard Hosana. Now, his dad is Tingana, who is also the dad of Tlalamba, and so that makes it quite confusing. And Tundi and Hosana have the same mother, so it's quite a complicated story. But basically what's happened is that this young male has been hanging around the last few weeks, and he keeps making kills, and unfortunately they then get stolen by his dad, Tingana. And funnily enough, he's just come off a kill yesterday. They won a kill together with his dad, and his dad took it, and he didn't get any food, and so now he's done the same to his older sister, and so he's learning from his dad a little bit in the way he goes about things. But you can see that carcass is dangling perilously close to the ground. But here comes the other 2 leopards. They're going to come past now. I'm just going to try and get us in a bit of a better spot for when they approach, so that we can actually see them coming. Let's just have a little look here quickly. It's going to be very interesting to see what their approach is going to be. Gary, yes, we are safe in an open vehicle, so the animals here have become fairly habituated to our presence and our being around. They know that we're not in any way a threat to them, but at the same breath, we're also not food. So they're not taught to eat us by their mothers, and that means that they generally are actually quite calm with us and around us. And so, we try and avoid them touching our cars in any way or kind of coming too close. If they put their paws on the car, we will then kind of start the car and try and move off. Now, the female leopard is just on our left-hand side. You'll also notice that there is a few cars that are around us, and that's tourists that have come out to come and see all the magic that is happening, and they are being absolutely spoiled. So, David, just to the right a little bit from where you are. A little bit more right, I think. There, just straight in on the right-hand side of that bush. She's just sitting in the grass there underneath that stump. Down a little bit, there she is. So you can see she's coming closer. Now, I wonder if she's going to be brave enough to actually go up into the tree, but this is phenomenal. It's what amazes me with this little leopard family is that the cub for this mom obviously is around, and normally a young male leopard like this would be a threat to her and the offspring and the survival of her offspring. But because she knows this male, in some way she's spent a lot of time around him, and because he's so young and he's been very, very submissive to her up until now, she doesn't see him as too much of a threat. But look, she's scent marking, so that's a display to her, or to him, to say that I'm the dominant female here. You know, what are you doing up there? And the problem is though she's also calling, so she's calling her cub to come closer, just to make sure that the cub stays with her and stays around her and doesn't drift off too far. But absolutely incredible. Also notice she'll start to salivate quite heavily as her kind of adrenaline starts to pump. So Nina, will Tanya take the risk to approach Hosana with Kalamba? Well, she is taking the risk. She's moved probably 90% of the distance towards this tree, and she's even calling little Kalamba to come closer, so she's not really too worried about Kalamba at this stage. I think Kalamba is old enough that she can get away and move out of the area if she needs to be, but it's very interesting just to watch how they're going about it. And Hosana is in the tree, is growling a little bit, so he's just saying, you guys don't come any closer, I don't really want anything to do with you guys coming up here. And there he is. He looks quite relaxed though, doesn't he? Every now and then you'll see, look there, he's just growling, and that's because Tundi's coming closer. Now I wonder if Tundi might even go up into the tree. The last time we had these two together, Tundi put on quite a display and really tried to chase Hosana away from her carcass, but he was just too much power and too big for her that he eventually got up and stole it, and she then just walked around the area and kind of just tried to, you know, find her cub really, actually, because the cub ran off because the two of them had a bit of a fight. Now it seems as though Tundi's actually now lying down, Hosana's up in the tree and is quite relaxed, and this is just the most ridiculous sighting. How amazing. Now it really is not going to be every day that you're going to see something like this. We are very spoiled this afternoon. It seems as though we've gotten into a bit of a stalemate now. I don't think, I would be very surprised if Tundi came all the way to the tree and even tried to go up there. She's just so much smaller than what he is, that even though she's more experienced and she's probably better at fighting than what he would be because of his inexperience, he's only, like I say, 2.5 years old, so you know he's really not a big leopard yet. And this thing is though, he's just so much more powerful already. He probably weighs maybe, I would say, 30-40 pounds more than she does, even though she's a 12-year-old adult female. He's just that much heavy. You can see, look how big his head is, and he's got this powerful neck and shoulders, which is going to make it very difficult for her to go anywhere near him, and she knows that, so she's just going to just check around and see what's going to happen. And the three of them will sit here for quite some time. They'll all kind of mill about in the area until such time as he's finished that carcass. He's not going to go anywhere. What's going to be interesting though is that one day if his dad's going to arrive, because his dad, and where the carcass was yesterday that Tingana stole from Hosana, is not far away at all, and it could very well mean that dad arrives here too, which would just be an interesting showdown, because so far he's been very tolerant of his son, but those days are going to come to an end at some point, because basically Hosana is getting bigger and stronger, and he's going to start becoming a threat. And if Tingana sees his son around his females and basically his offspring, his demeanor towards his son could change quite drastically and become a little more on the aggressive side. But absolutely wonderful. You can see he's starting to feed a little bit. I think everything at this seems to have all, like I say, got into a bit of a stalemate. I can't see the cub anymore. She seems to have gone and hidden. Tundi's lying down and sleeping, and Hosana is starting to feed. So for now, we're going to say goodbye, and we're going to hope that you enjoyed this amazing sighting. If anything does heat up and Tundi does approach any closer, we will definitely bring it back live, but hopefully you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Well guys, how amazing is that? It doesn't... What are you doing, Hosana? He is a clown, isn't he? Not difficult though, when you just kind of use your paws to pick things up, and he's just making sure everything's not dangling too much, that he can use it as a meat pillow. He's now got himself a big pillow, and I wouldn't be surprised that he does decide to actually have a little sleep on top of that. Amazing though, absolutely incredible. Like I say, Tanya is completely asleep now. She's lying down, she's not even moving. You he's not growling. So the two of them are obviously just comfortable with what's going on. And Kalamba, I don't know where she went. The last I saw her, she was kind of coming in this direction, and then I think with the hissing and growling and Tandy scent marking, she then just went into a little bush to go and hide away in case it's somebody that's a threat. But the instinct for Kalamba is definitely there, that she needs to see cover when another leopard is around. So it's good on her. It's going to definitely keep her safer for longer. It's just a pity that our boy has moved this, because he's now put it into a tree or part of the tree which is really sort of thick and lots of branches in the way, which is not really that ideal. So it was quite nice where it was, but typical Osana, he's got to make himself a little bit more obscured. Right, now, in all likelihood, we're going to have to leave the sighting pretty quickly, because there sounds like about 40 million people that want to come and see what's going on here. So I'm not sure if we're going to be here for much longer, but in the meantime, let's send you back across to James and see what the plans are for the rest of the afternoon now that he's left the leopards.
Well, Hassan's kind of kiboshed everything because he's gone and joined the other sighting, which means that we can't stay with him because there are too many people there now. And so we are going to go and look for the wild dogs. Now, the wild dogs were shouting this morning when I was sitting in the tent. They were going, "Ooh, ooh, 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 ooh." It sounded like a sort of strangulated owl. And so we're going to check the water points for them. We believe that they made 2 kills just before dawn today. One that the hyena stole from them, and Sydney found at Twin Dams a little bit earlier, and then almost certainly the one that Tundi has now. Look at the glorious golden puddle that is Treehouse Dam. So you've got a nice warm reflection off the water. It's quite chilly today. It is peaceful, Emma, that is correct. Emma is directing, in case you were wondering, everybody. She's one half of the double red terror that operates in the final control. Who said that? Somebody said, "Yes, wild dogs, please," but I don't know who that was. My best friend, or is that the Twitter handle? Your best friend? Oh, the Twitter handle is your best friend. Okay, I got it now. I wasn't aware I had a best friend until... Yes. Is that Talisker single malt whiskey? Thank you, your best friend. Is that Christmas pudding? Is that chicken vindaloo speaking? Sorry, everybody. Let's go and find some animals. We'll do our best. Best friend. I'm quite looking forward to the coming season now, because I was looking through some tree stuff today and realizing, of course, that I haven't done a huge amount of tree stuff of late, and that's mainly because the trees have been, well, not much to look at. They've been undressed and naked over the last few months, and so, well, it's been best to let them just be naked in privacy, I feel. So our plan is now to go towards Twin Dams, where the hyenas stole the first kill, see if they are around there. I'm not sure that they are, because if I heard them all the way from the tent, I don't know. Well, I heard one of them, and he was shouting for the rest. He or she was shouting for the rest, obviously lost. Oh, there we are, there are the tracks. The question is, when are these tracks from? Tracks, they haven't been going down the road the whole time, so I've been driving over them. Yes, I have. That's wonderful. Okay, well, one of them's definitely come down here at some stage during the day. Possibly this morning, though. They don't look very fresh to me. I'm going to say they're from this morning, and I'm going to say we should continue with our original plan before trying to follow these. They were chasing something around here, some impala, I think. Sorry? Who's Poofy? Oh, Poofy Poof. Oh, I think, Emma, you mustn't be afraid to say Poofy Poof. It's a perfectly acceptable name in some circles. I think there's some rare Icelandic circles where I think Poofy Poof is an acceptable name. Very isolated community in Iceland. Otherwise, yes, well, I can understand why you're saying it quite quietly. Well, Poofy Poof, wild dogs maintain their territories by... Well, they don't really have territories. They roam far too widely to have territories, but they do kind of mark their home ranges, although they don't defend them very enthusiastically. And they mark them in the same way that all other animals mark their territories, by defecating and urinating in various strategic spots. But because their home ranges are so big, they do have overlapping areas. They will often overlap with each other. They often meet up with each other, not very friendlily, but they do meet up with each other. I'm also still searching for my first Wahlberg's eagle. It's got 3 days to get here. I was hoping it would be here before the 1st of September. I seem to remember them being here before then. Last year and the year before that. Turn the Game Drive radio down because now everybody's deeply excited by the number of leopards there are where Tristan was. Not sure if he's still there or not. Right, we're approaching the southern boundary now. We shall take a turn towards the east and towards Twin Dams. Now, it's one of those rather awkward days where I don't know if I'm warm or cold. Right now I'm cold because we're driving into the wind and there's no sun. In case any of you were worried about my general well-being. Now, the reason I've slowed down here is that there's normally a little diker who lives in this clearing, and I've seen him here many, many times. Naturally, the only time I want to stop and display him to anybody, he is nowhere to be seen. I was just listening to a story about some buffalo, which are not near us. Let's go back to Hosana, who I believe is now climbing a tree.
Well, yes, he is up a tree, and that's because he just stole Tandi's kill, and that's why he's up there and doing his thing. Now, Tandi and Kalamba were milling about just now, but it seems as though they might have actually moved off a little bit. And I wonder if they might be going for water at the dam. Might be worth James having a little look a bit later. But how cool was that sighting? Absolutely incredible. And this family dynamic between these leopards just continues to go and go and go and go and go. David, I'm going to go forward slightly for you because we just were trying to wait for another car to just get into, well, there was another car that wanted to be in the sighting. And so what I want to try and do is just straighten us up a little bit so that we are less of a profile and so that the others can also come and also enjoy from this angle, because this is the best angle that there is. But how cool is that? Look at him. He's just kind of staring straight down at us at the moment. He's got his paw on top of the rib cage and is just kind of every now and then, and it's amazing because every now and then he pulls the rib cage and it moves, and so then he flexes his claws and you can actually see the claws coming out as well as his teeth. It's quite a cool kind of comparison between the two. And look at the size of his paw. You kind of wondered if you saw Kalamba dragging this carcass this morning, work out the size of her with that rib cage and then look at the size of his paw on the rib cage. That should give you a fair kind of comparison as just to how big that paw actually is nowadays. Amazing. That's very cool. As much as it's sad that Kalamba and Tandi lost this kill, it's still, I mean, I feel for Hosana. He's had a tough time of it. They've all taken from him. His last kill he just made, he got so little of it. And that, in a way, he also deserves a little bit. And also, Tandi and Kalamba didn't actually kill this. They stole it themselves. So I don't feel that bad, if I'm honest. I feel like they their feed out of it as well, and now Hassan is getting his feed too. Now, he is not concerned at all. He is just going to have a really nice feed. Amazing. Now, the other interesting thing about this is that I was talking to James this afternoon about it, is that there was no chance that any of us were going to find this kill. If it wasn't for elephants, there was not a single track that indicated where this kill was, and it would only have been if somebody had followed Hosana here would we have known what had happened. But there really was no evidence of Thandi or Tlalamba, only because we just got a little bit of luck where we kind of followed elephants and noises, and then all of a sudden, out in front of us popped Thandi, and it just goes to show, I wonder how many kills she has that we never, ever, ever know about, because had we not found her today, unless she had gone for water, we would have never have found her at all in this area. We would have probably driven around for days looking for her, and it's such a thick, dense section, it would have been hard to actually pick her up in these thickets. Anyway, at least we got lucky, and we did find it, and we've had the most splendid morning and afternoon. To have a leopard on foot the way that we did this morning, and then to have the sighting we've had this afternoon is very, very, very special. And we're incredibly lucky that we've, seen what we've seen over the past, I would say, 6 weeks of Hosana's return. When did he actually return? What was the date that Hosana was back, and how long has it been? It feels like it's been quite a while now, so I would imagine about 6 weeks or so that he's been in this area and has been around. So it would be really, really quite amazing that he's provided as much as he has in the last few months. But, right, now before James Bird flies away, let's quickly send you across to him.
Look, everybody, there it is. It is the Wahlberg's Eagly. The first one. And it's calling. I don't know if it's calling a mate or perhaps alarm calling. Just below it are some elephants that are moving away. But there is the first Wahlberg's Eagly of the year. Hurrah! I'm most pleased. You can go back to the leopard if you want now, Emma. I was just very excited to show you the Wahlberg's Eagly. And that is the pair of, or one half of the pair of the chocolate one and the white one that live not too far from here in a nest. I'm sure that's one of them. Let's go a little bit closer, see if we can't get a better look. For those of you who don't know, the eagle, of course, is a herald of the summer. It is a migratory eagle that arrives back around about this time of the year, and it's very exciting to see it back here because, of course, it means that summer's on the way, doesn't it? Very exciting. Just got here, probably could have been just today, actually. Ha! That makes me feel deeply happy. Makes me feel very hatty. Why it should make me feel hatty. Sometimes they do that when there is a predator below them, but I don't think that's the case today. We'll just follow up the elephants as well, which are just in front of us. Obviously, large grey things, difficult to mistake. Robert, I think that the favourite food of the Wahlberg's eagle, sorry about this angle, Fergus, we're trying to get a few jackalberries here. The favourite food of this Wahlberg's eagle is probably lizards. They eat quite a few reptiles, but they very happily have devoured the squirrel that Hosana devoured today. Having a little bit of a fight over some fruits. A bit of a family spat. Righty. I think let's just spend a little bit of time here and then we will try and go across to the Wahlberg's eagle, and perhaps we might even find the wild doggies. I think if the wild doggies were around here, they'd be shouting a lot more loudly, the elephants. Isn't that nice? They're listening. They're not feeding. I'm not sure what they would be listening to. Perhaps there are quite a few other elephants around here. Perhaps the matriarch of the herd here is calling beneath our ability to hear, at a frequency too low for us. But it definitely looks to me like they're concentrating on something, like they have arrested their motion simply because, or not simply, but because they have picked something up, be it the scent of a predator or something like that. I'm just looking around myself here. Al-Shar, it's a bit of a mystery. Wahlberg's eagles go up into North Africa. They're not Palearctic migrants. They don't go into Europe and across into Asia. But we don't know exactly where they stop, because I don't think ornithology is particularly important in various parts of where they do stop. I think survival is probably most important in the areas where they do stop. Just sort of north of the equator, south of the Sahara. So they won't go north of the Sahara Desert. Let's carry on. There's the other one quickly. There's the other Wahlberg's eagle. You got it there? I think we're going to the Mara, everybody. But there it is. We're in the Mara? Not in the Mara? Going to the Mara? Staying here? Not staying here? Off air? On air?
But one that stays around throughout the years, and not one that we do get excited for seeing them, but perhaps not as excited as the first Wahlberg's eagle sighting of the year. A pair of female ostriches, I don't see any males, and every now and again a wildebeest that just panics and runs through the frame for no discernible reason other than it's a wildebeest and they like to run. Now here she is pulling off leaves, possibly seeds and fruit, but most likely at this point leaves off the wildebeest. They're completely mental, they really are. They just do the craziest things. Okay, are we done now? Can I go back to talking about the ostriches? Yes, I think we sort of done. There's nothing chasing them, they're just running for the sake of it. Ostriches do that too, just as a matter of interest, and can run exceptionally fast as the wildebeest can, almost. Now, yesterday we were treated to a seriously amazing, interesting sighting of elephants chasing ostrich, and the ostrich trying to stand their ground. And we still don't know exactly what it was that was going on there. I meant to go back to that area and check, but I've been completely waylaid by other things this afternoon, so I haven't had a chance to. But I'd be interested to go and monitor that pair and see whether or not they did have a nest that they were protecting. Ostriches can be fiercely protective. Tame ostriches can be actually quite terrifying. They have powerful two-toed feet, and each toe is topped with a slicing claw, and they kick with those long, powerful legs, just as a zebra could. They kick with those long, powerful legs, and they can split skin. They could potentially even kill a predator. Leopards and lions don't really bother all that much with ostriches. They do occasionally grab them, but not often. Cheetah do. Sam, you want to know how fast an ostrich can run? I don't remember the top speed off the top of my head. It's around about 80 kilometers an hour. So it is just not quite as fast as a cheetah. So around about 80 kilometers an hour. What's that in miles? 40. I'm really bad at miles. What is it, 1.5? I've gone completely blank. I'm really useless with miles. I always have been. So around about somewhere around there. though they are very, very fast animals, at very top speeds. And for some reason, people ride them as well, which I cannot think of anything more terrifying than getting on the back of an ostrich. Nor, in fact, do I feel that it's an animal that should carry humans. It's a bird. Doesn't seem very kind at all. They do have very solid bones, though. They are obviously flightless, which means that they are capable of carrying greater weights than your average bird. Why can't I convert? I really think there's something about being out in the Mara sun all day that does something to one's brains. And yeah, off the top of my head, 80 kilometers sounds a bit fast. 70 kilometers or so. 45, thank you very much. Emma tells me I would like to claim credit for that, but Emma tells me it's 45 miles an hour. Okay, so it is around 70 rather than 80. Good, so this is all going really well. This conversation has been fantastic. I've really completely given you the answer that you wanted. Zebras having a little mutual grooming session there. They can be nice to each other every now and again. Probably a group of boys over there, if I had to guess. Just watching what they're doing. Somewhere between grooming each other and then fighting. Or sparring, as the case may be. Youngsters, no herd of their own. Basically, this is a way of forming a bachelor group so that they have a chance to learn the skills that they're going to need when it comes to fighting for a female. Let's go over to Tristan.
Well, you can see Tundi has just come in underneath the tree, so straight above her head is where Hosana is. Hosana dropped a piece of meat, and so Tundi has just walked in and taken it. And look at that there, the two of them are pretty much side by side. There's no real animosity. Hosana growled a little bit, Tundi took a little bit of meat, and now the two of them are just going to part ways. And so Tlalamba is also around here somewhere. She's behind us at the moment, and it's pretty weird to be between three leopards, I can promise you that are not really supposed to be together. It's one thing when it's a female and two cubs, but then you've got an older boy that is not actually the son of that female, and she's allowing her cub to be this close. It's quite a weird thing. I mean, it's not something that we typically would normally see. It really is quite astounding how this little leopard family dynamic has played out, and it's really kind of changing the way we see the relationships between leopards. It seems as though they are far more sociable than we think, and it could be just obviously because he's not a sexually active leopard yet. He's not a dominant individual, and that means that her response to him is that much smaller. He's not scent marking over her. He's not vocalizing, and maybe that's why she just feels a little bit more comfortable. And also, we know that Hosana spent time with Tundi from just after Karula disappeared, and so it's almost like she knows that this is just basically a young male that is really not in any way a threat to her, which is surprising because obviously, he has the power to kill Tlalamba, but for some reason they don't mind each other being as close as they are. It really is quite something to see them in close proximity like this, and look at that beautiful light on him. You can't ask for anything more than that. I mean, he could have been on a lower branch, but other than that, it really is spectacular light. You've got a bit of blue sky because the clouds have broken apart, which is wonderful for us. And we've got this golden light on his coat. And he has a gold coat as it is. He's not a very light-colored leopard. He's quite golden in color. So it's really kind of accentuating that coloration. Now, I thought we might have seen a little bit more of an interaction when Tundi approached the tree, but he obviously is quite happy with his bit of the carcass, and Tundi, well, she was happy just to take the scrap off the bottom, much like I, would have done back in the day. But no little growl here and there, but otherwise it was quite civil. That's actually far more civil than I thought. Hosana, your belly's getting so big you're going to fall out of the tree. He's battling to kind of keep the roundness at bay. I don't know why he chose that spot to feed. It really is not a very comfortable area at all. I think he just wanted height so that if anybody does come up, that he's got space to maneuver and kind of jump out and around. You see it with Tingana. Every time Tingana is stolen from him, he ends up just jumping over Tingana and kind of utilizing other branches to get down. So I suppose this gives him a way out to use a different part of the tree if another leopard does come in. It would be amazing if Tingana arrived here. Can you imagine if they had all four of them together? together. I still want to see that, and the day is coming. We're going to see all four of them coming together at some point in the next few weeks. I'm sure of it. It just can't keep happening that we're getting three of them together at times and that the fourth one doesn't arrive. It's especially around carcasses like this. There's got to be a day where Tingana somehow sniffs it out and arrives in the area and makes his presence known, because, well, if anybody can smell a carcass, it is our big dominant male Tingana. So that day is coming, and I think that might be the defining moment as to how this is all going to play out and how incredible this actually is. If we see Tingana relaxed with Hosana around Tanya Lamba, then I don't know. Then Tingana is probably the most accepting male leopard that I've ever seen. It's crazy to think, though, that, it amazes me, because if we go back to 2 years ago, well, a little over 2 years ago now, Tingana was the villain. Everybody made him out to be this horrible leopard that eats other leopards, and that he's dangerous, and he's not good for cubs, and he shouldn't be around the cubs because he's going to kill them and kill the females. And he was really vilified as this horrible leopard by a number of people. And now I see a lot of people who were the ones vilifying him saying that he's the most amazing father, and it's interesting how perceptions can change very, very quickly when we actually get to spend a lot more time with these animals and we kind of start to understand a bit more about them. I think he was unfairly vilified for all of that. I think he was just acting on an instinct that he maybe smelt another male, and when he attacked her, you probably find he didn't actually mean to kill Shilou. We're talking about the Shilou incident where he killed her. I don't think he actually meant to kill her. I think it was more that he attacked her thinking there was a male in the area, or even that she might have been a young male. And one bite in the right place, and that was the end of that. And obviously, once she's dead, eating her is pretty much what a lot of the cats do. I mean, we've seen lions eat each other. We've seen leopards do it as well. And I've seen a mother leopard eat her cub. It's all just nutrients at the end of the day. Once it's dead, there's no emotional attachment by those cats to that animal in any way. But that light is just ridiculous now, isn't it? I think it looks fantastic. Right, well, we'll keep watching Hosana, see what he gets up to, see if Tandi comes back or little Kalamba arrives. In the meantime, let's send you back across to James, who's got an antelope that looks far better off than this impala.
Yes, look at our antelope. Doesn't it look good? It's so good that it's able to fly. Fantastic flying antelope there. Beautiful. I've got another two flying antelope, if you wouldn't mind, up there, Fergus. That particular flying antelope is known as a saddle-billed stork, and the ones there in the far distance are some migrants, some white storks. Yes, they're there somewhere. There you are. That's it. Right, there you are. It's no, left. Yeah, no, they're behind that beastly tree. No, that's all right. Don't worry, Fergus. We will get through it. No, that's a tree. Yeah. Okay, good. Well, the antelope is over there. It is, of course, a kudu. And it's eating an Antawa quarry. That's interesting. Very tart leaves. This is a difficult time for kudus. They're unable to graze effectively, so they must browse. And most of the leaves that are around at this time of the year are in fact fairly tannin-rich. Lots of chemical defenses they have. And so the kudu has to be quite careful. In very nasty drought years, you'll find that sometimes they'll actually die from their stomach stopping up because of the ingestion of too much tannins. Right, the first thing was a saddle-billed stork. The other ones that we didn't get were some white storks coming in from Europe. Very nice to see. Oh, and some impala. Let us stop for impala. One must stop for impala once a day. Hello. How are you? Had a good day? Eh? Not being attacked? It's always nice not to be attacked, I find. I find a day free of being attacked is a good day indeed. Yes, well, you chaps seem very calm, collected. Clearly haven't been attacked. tell you, there are some wild dogs around, so just be careful. Yes, one of them looked up when he heard that. Thought to himself, I don't fancy seeing any wild dogs today. We haven't found any further sign of them, by the way, everyone. So not sure they are, but we will do our best to find them and other instant creatures as we drive around here. Lovely little peaceful sighting. Somewhat ruined by somebody flying an aeroplane about 3 feet off the ground over our heads. Hold on, everybody. When I say duck, duck, duck. Well, doesn't he know we're on Game Drive? I don't think he cares. Hang on a second. Let's go. Yeah. Let me turn around a bit. Sorry, Ferg. You get these other stalks there. You got them. There we go. Look at all the migrants coming home. I know Steve did see a white stork, I think, a few weeks ago. But there are a whole lot more of them. Hello, how was your winter? Welcome back. Good to have you here. Makes us feel like summer's on the way. As does the heat. Wonder where they're going. I don't think they're going further than Chitwell. Although, no guide monkey Egyptian geese reside with us. They do not bother to go anywhere else other than here. I think they're heading down to the south of the park. Maybe even further south than that, into Natal perhaps. Very nice. I hesitate to say this, but this fellow is either failing to land or he's doing some acrobatics. Yes. He's come back for the shopping. Alright, let's carry on. He's landed up here. Cool. A little bit worried. Anyway, let's go back to the Marsi Mara, to the commonest antelope that they have over there. It is, of course, the Oribi. No, it's not.
The Mara with some happy wildebeest cantering along, kicking up their heels in joy, and perhaps, just appreciating the beauty of the evening before night falls and they become haunted by predators. Or hunted, I suppose would be a better word, but haunted works as well. The little ones cantering along, the big ones doing so as well. Now they are all spread out far and wide, and that will only last until it gets dark, which by the looks of the sky will happen quite early this evening. Oh, I'm having the James Henry effect. Now, once the sky darkens, the sun sets, and it becomes very difficult for them to see, they'll actually group together in massive, tightly packed herds, and that's the way that they spend the evenings. Because of course, when night falls is when most of the predators are actively trying to get them. Even cheetah, as we learned from our time following them through the migration last year. Tonight's going to be moonless, it's going to be pitch dark, and it's going to be very, very scary for them. And I can tell you that as soon as it gets dark, I'm going to be as far away from a large herd as I can possibly get myself. After one very scary stampede experience last year, it is not something I wish to repeat in the dark. During the day, wildebeest are fine. They still stampede, but for the most part they control themselves quite quickly. At night, all rules are forgotten and they run in swirls. And when 100,000 wildebeest run, they don't have far to go, or they don't have anywhere to go. I'm really sorry, I have absolutely no idea what Emma just asked me. I know it was a question from Sam. It was because I was just thinking about turning on my engine. Oh, Sam, do the carnivores migrate with the herbivores? Migrate would be the wrong word. Nomadic male lions, for example, will follow the herd to a certain degree, yes. So they do that because at that point they're young, they don't really have an established territory or a reason to stick around. They've got no dependent offspring that would be killed if they were to disappear. So they disappear and they follow the food. And maybe, just maybe along the way, they might find themselves a territory. Generally speaking, lion prides don't move around all that much because they're territorial, and why would they? But this year, with the severe lack of food that we saw before the migration, the fact that it arrived late, and the fact that the predators were as hungry as they are, we noticed a serious movement of the lions here. But that's not really a migration. That's a small movement of a isolated population. Scavengers like vultures, you could almost term it a migration because they do follow it. And they're just waiting for which I can actually smell. I think a hyena's buried one somewhere in this water. Ugh. I'm sure a hyena's found itself some food and splashed it in there. They love doing that. I don't know why. Wow, we are really in the migration proper now. Amazing. Sound effects. I thought it would be easy to find these Olololos. I'm getting conflicting information. Some people are saying they've gone, oopsie, I'm going to concentrate, up towards the escarpment. I don't know. I don't want to go up there right now. It's going to be an absolute mudslick. And I'll get stuck. Then I'll have to call Brent because he's the only person here who can come and get me. And then he'll never let me live it down. I'm not sure that's what I'm going to do. What I really want to do, though, is show you warthog babies. The little warthogs have started having their babies at this point of the year, which means there are tiny little piglets wandering around. Watch this. Don't stop doing it because I've stopped now. That's the problem with wildebeest. They stop being funny when you stop to look at them. Don't look at me like that. Just rubbing his face on a pile of dirt. Beautiful, well done, buddy. Let's just keep an eye on him because he might do something funny, like go and chase another male, because he's obviously feeling a little territorial there. Minamu, the hardest animal tracks to distinguish. Cats can be very difficult on hard surfaces, and pangolin can be very, very difficult because they almost look like scuff marks. Certain birds, light birds, frogs can be quite tricky. Depends, of course, on the substrate that you're talking about. They're the vultures I was talking about, one flying past. Okay, he's not going to. The herds are starting to move now. They're starting to want to gather together in that group that I was talking about, that massive herd. I don't know how they coordinate who goes where. It seems to just sort of happen organically. Much canoeing. Look at that. Oh, a sea of wildebeest. There we go. We've got some fighting. A youngster not quite ready to challenge that male. I'm actually trying to keep track of each other in this. I mean, if you're a wildebeest, that is. A lot of the youngsters were only born in February, and they're still quite young. They've got to stick close to mum. Difficult to do in this chaos. a lot of the calls that you hear is sort of a high-pitched sound. I can hear it behind me, but you won't be able to hear it because of where it is. But a high-pitched call is a youngster trying to find mum. I find the most distressing sight in the migration is the little ones running around on their own. I'm tempted to pull a Brent and tell you all to send through your best wildebeest impressions on hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. He's done that before with mating leopards, and we all had to participate. I've done so many repeated wildebeest calls, I don't think I'd even need. I don't know. How many of you would be willing to send through your video of, or a sound recording, I suppose, of your imitation of a wildebeest? Archie, do you think you can imitate a wildebeest? No. Silence. Oh, look at this little one. He's lost. He's very lost. Oh, shame. Oh, while I wait to see who of you is brave enough to take me on that particular dare, let us go rejoin Tristan and see what noises Hasana's making.
Well, Hasana is growling, and that's because Tundi is right here in front of us, scraping and scent marking and doing her thing. And so there's a very unhappy Hasana in the top of the tree that's trying to tell she's busy chuffing. Look at that light. Oh, that is spectacular. How good is that? That is very cool. Now look, he's growling. He's very upset that Tundi is walking past. Amazing. Look at that. There we go, Tundi and Hasana. You can actually hear him a little bit. Grumpy boy. You tell your sister this is mine now. She's done that to him a few times, so I suppose he's learned that it's basically the way things go. Now you can see she's going to walk straight past us and go down. I think she's going to go try and find Columba now. And she's been chuffing a little bit and kind of calling, but that light on them is just absolutely insane. It really is spectacular this afternoon, and we've been spoiled once again by our little leopard family. Really have. I wonder where little Columba is, though. The last time I saw her was behind me, so I don't really know where she ended up going. I think that she's probably somewhere around the area. I don't think she would have gone far. Tundi's kind of calling every now and then. Interestingly enough, Tundi's walking to where the carcass is, where we first found her this morning. She's kind of heading off in a straight line, and that's where the carcass was to start the day. It was in that direction, so she's just heading in that area. I think she's going to go look if there's any other scraps that are around. Maybe she also saw her cub head in that direction and is going to have a little look if there's maybe something more to eat while Hasana just scoffs down the rest. Now, this carcass is not going to last much longer. The way he's going at it, there's going to be very, very little left by this end of this evening, and that means that probably all three of them won't actually be here tomorrow. I'd be very surprised, actually, if we had any sign of the three of them here. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, that all three of them end up at the pan, though, at some point during the evening. Right. We'll carry on sitting, we'll see what goes on, and maybe James wants to head into this area, given that it's just us now, and he can follow Tundi and Columba as they go, or stay with Hasana if he wants to. But in the meantime, he's got a kudu that he wants to show all of us.
Yes, an antelope indeed, there it is. It is a Nyala. Oh, there are the two African hawk eagles chasing each other, Ferg. They're not very happy. This is where their eagle's nest is. Just quickly make sure that they are both African hawk eagles and that one is something else. Unfortunately, my binoculars had attached themselves to everything else in my box, so I couldn't bring them to bear. It's definitely an African hawk eagle, that one. Yes, the one in front is as well. Both African hawk eagles. I thought maybe one was a gymnogene that had perhaps threatened the nest of the African hawk eagle, but it was not. That was wonderful. Good. Shall we continue along here? We should. Our antelope is hidden behind a thick bush. Yeah, we might get a shot there. Might be quite nice in the setting sun. Hello. There we are. With his oxpecker. Young bull on his own. Not that young. Possibly trying to seek out some ladies. True when their breeding season would be. It's definitely not now, though. They'll be calving in the rainy season, December, January. And so I imagine their breeding season is exactly 9 months before that. I think that's their gestation period, 9 months. So they won't be breeding now. That's quite possibly why he's on his own. There are some more oxpeckers now having a spat over the ticks that litter his body. Sucked out all their blood. I must say, I think I quite like to have oxpeckers on me. I think it must feel like being tickled all day long, don't you think? Yes, as long as you don't have an open wound, as Fergus says, it wouldn't be very nice then. But luckily, with our opposable hands and ability to reach the rest of our bodies, we could just slap them off. Yes, it is quite nice, isn't it, Laura Moore? That rust-coloured forehead that looks a little bit like a female's forehead. It's the same colour. And of course, like his forehead was when he was a youngster. He just winked at you, Laura Moore. Did you see that? He just winked at you again. I think he's quite a fan. And again. Laura Moore, you must be blushing at this sort of attention. Look at him. What a shaker and a mover he is. An operator. Eh? You smarmy fellow. You know, you're possibly pushing it a little far right now. Very confident in himself, isn't he? Winking away at us. Not a care in the world. His shiny white lipstick. Obviously to his satisfaction. They always remind me of children who've just been at ice cream with their mouths covered in white like that. Or my brother. My brother is a year younger than me and he looks like that after he's eaten an ice cream. Alrighty, we're going to have a school drive now, everybody. We are going to be focusing on animals and what they eat. And so, well, I think the best place to start with that would be with Tristan, Thandi, and Kalahama and Hosana.
Well, indeed, James, I hope that I'll be the best person to start with because we've got such a special sighting this afternoon in the form of a male leopard that is having a really good snack on an impala, so he's busy up in the tree feeding. That is a very, very warm welcome to West Lake Charter. We hope that you are going to have the most wonderful afternoon with us and you're going to enjoy spending time with all of Africa's wild animals, and you've joined us on a very special afternoon because, well, it's always very nice to see a leopard. It's not something we see all that often. They are shy, elusive animals, and so we get very lucky when we get to spend as much time as we do in this part of the world with relaxed leopards like we are now. My name is Tristan on camera. I've got David, and remember that you can ask lots and lots of questions, and you just give them to your teacher, and your teacher will then send them through to us. Now, I was saying that it's a special afternoon because not only do we have this one leopard that's up in the tree like that, you can see he's busy eating the last of a impala, and that's probably something that leopards eat the most out here. It's one of their favorite meals. An impala is a medium-sized antelope. It's very similar to your deer, and it gets basically hunted by everything out here, but leopards really like them. They come across pass them quite regularly because impalas are so common, and so they hunt them very, very often. Now, what happened with this impala is that it was killed during the early hours of this morning by a pack of wild dogs, and the wild dogs then unfortunately got robbed by a female leopard and her cub. Now, the female leopard and her cub were here somewhere just now, and then this male leopard came in and he stole it from them. So this carcass has been stolen not once but twice, and it just goes to show you that size and power is everything out here, because those wild dogs, unfortunately, they got out-muscled by a leopard, and it was only a small pack of wild dogs, probably one or maybe even two wild dogs, and then the bigger male leopard came and out-muscled the female leopard, and so that's why he's ended up with the spoils and how he's going to town on it. Now, you would think that a impala, which weighs probably close to about 160 pounds, would take a while to eat, but it's taken about 12 hours to get to just bones that you see like that he's busy cleaning up and eating at the moment, and he's going to be crunching down and trying to eat as much as possible out of it. So, Brandon, it depends where you are in South Africa. If you're here in this part of South Africa, in the wilderness areas where all of the big animals roam, the top predator undoubtedly is lions for the most part. Now, I say that hesitantly because sometimes hyenas can actually be the top predator, and that's only if they have lots and lots of numbers. So if you get big clans of hyenas, well, then they will actually be quite dominant, and they will even chase lions sometimes. But one-on-one, if we had to have a lion, a leopard, a hyena, a cheetah, a wild dog, and it was just a single individual, then you would find that the lions would be way, way, way on top. They really are the biggest and the strongest of all of the predators out here, and they outmuscle most of the animals most of the time, and especially big male lions. They really are massive, massive animals, and they can quickly push others away. Now, you can see he's quite high up in that tree, so once he's finished feeding, which I'm pretty sure will be fairly soon, because you can actually see his belly is starting to get really big. You see, look where he's lying there. You see, look how fat his tummy is. So I think he's going to put his carcass nicely, finish one of those legs, and then I think he's going to find himself a place to lie down. Now, he's already eaten a squirrel this afternoon as well. He caught a squirrel earlier and ate that too, so he's being a little picky and eating a lot. Liar, how do leopards get up there? Well, you can see, look how agile he is in the tree. They've got very sharp claws that as they go up the tree, they'll sink their claws into the tree, and then they pull themselves up with very strong, powerful legs and neck and shoulders. And then they've got that tail that's quite long. You see the tail? Look what he's doing. He's trying to get the carcass so that it doesn't hang too much in case it's going to fall. And he's going to try and pull that piece off so that he can eat that. Now, that tail will help balance him as he walks around in that area and tries to kind of figure out how he's going to eat this. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes to the ground to eat this one, because it's not going to be that easy to feed on. Oh no, he's now put himself in a very difficult place for us. I'm going to have to try and figure out another way to get us into position so that we can actually see him better than that, because he's kind of hidden behind the tree now a little bit. So I'm going to just try and move quickly. Right, now, while I reposition and try and get into a better view so we can see our male leopard a little bit better than what we have now, I'm going to send you to my friend Jamie, who's all the way up in East Africa, in Kenya, and she's sitting with one of the most amazing spectacles in the whole world.
But Tristan will get a better view for you. And a very warm welcome to the students joining us, and welcome to the Masai Mara in Kenya. So you've just traveled across half a continent to the Masai Mara, which is an amazing thing. We're right up in Central East Africa. So we're in East Africa, essentially, and we're in the midst of the Great Migration. So just have a look at what is all around us. Now, I would ask you to count them, but that would be an impossible task because there are just so many wildebeest here. Probably in this particular group, around about 500,000. It's difficult to even, I think, conceive those numbers of animals. It's amazing. Absolutely extraordinary. And every year, they make a long, long trip from Tanzania to Kenya. And the reason they do that is for the grass. So they travel, this many animals traveling together. If they were to stay in one place, they would eat all the grass around them, and there would be nothing left. The grass would not have any time to recover. So what they do is they move in this massive, I suppose you could describe it as a circle. It's not quite as simple as that, but you can think of it as a circle, all the way from Tanzania, which which is where they give birth to their babies. And then they come up right through into Kenya around about July, August. It's been late this year because of the rain, but they've come all the way up here, and then around about October or so, they start moving back. Now what we're going to do is we're going to drive in a little bit, and you can have a look at the number of wildebeest and just marvel at how many there are. So around about 1.5 million wildebeest will make the migration, along with a couple of 100,000 zebra. Now the zebra usually come first, and the reason that the zebra usually come first is because they are able to utilize a different part of the grass to the wildebeest. So although they like nice green short grass, they can actually eat the longer parts of the grass. And that's because they have different digestive system. So I don't know how many of you have ever been around horses. Perhaps you've seen what horse dung looks like. It's very, very grassy. And the same applies for zebra, because essentially they digest very quickly. They can eat and digest, eat and digest, eat and digest. They don't have to spend too much time getting the nutrients out. Whereas wildebeest are like cows, so they're ruminants. They eat the food, they bring the food back up, and they chew it. And I've completely forgotten to introduce myself, I think. My name is Jamie, and there is a gentleman called Archie behind me. He's operating the camera, and he's going to show you all of the amazing things that we're seeing here in Kenya. It's raining a lot at the moment, so there's lots of nice green grass for the wildebeest to eat. Now, while they're here, what they're doing is they're running around trying to keep track of each other. So you've got these little ones over here. Now, Eli, if I understand you correctly, you want to know how many animals will move south during the migration instead of north, east, or west. Now, that's a tricky one because it depends on the time of year. Now, out here in the Masai Mara, there's something called a loiter herd, which is around about 50,000 or so wildebeest that stay in Kenya and migrate north and then come back south when the migration gets here properly in around about July. Whereas most of the herd will soon be turning around and going back to the south because it's that time of year. They'll have finished eating all of the grass, not all of the grass, but most of the grass. And it's time for them to leave this area and for the grass to recover. But it depends on the time of year. So certain birds in South Africa fly north when it's our winter and your summer. So they fly north back into the northern hemisphere, or perhaps into Central Africa where there's more food. Then, when it's springtime in the southern portion of Africa, which would be your autumn or your fall, they will then turn around and fly south. So it really depends mostly on the time of year, and almost always they're doing that because of food availability. So they're following where the food is going to be best, and mostly, just the same as from where you are, the food, whether it's insects or plants, is better in summer, spring and summer. Look at this little one. Hop, 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 hop. I love watching animals play. This little one is playing. He's trotting around enjoying himself. Wildebeest are fit, strong animals. They can run for ages. And that's what this little one is practicing. Run, 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 run. You see that high bounce? That's that little antelope's way of practicing, saying to predators, don't eat me. I'm far too quick. I'm far too strong. Look how fast I am. I'm dodging, diving, jumping. There's no point. I'm so healthy. But mostly I think he's just doing it because he enjoys it. Trot, trot. Now a lot of people, which is what we're going to do as well, this direction. Now they will also be coming here for food. So they'll be searching for food as well, and as it starts to get...
Now, wild dogs, very special African animals, one of the rarest carnivores that there are, in fact the second most rare carnivore in Africa, and that's what we're looking for. They're like wild, wolves of Africa. Basically, they don't look like wolves, they look like sort of Mickey Mouse heads with camouflage bodies, basically. That's what we're looking for. My name is James. Keep sending your questions and comments. It'd be lovely to hear from you as we try and find the wild dogs. The wild dogs, of course, are going to eat anything meat out here, from the size of a duiker to a scrub hare. Scrub hare is about this big. A duiker weighs in the region of 40 pounds. And an impala they would also take, possibly like the one that's in the tree there with Hosanna. You've seen Hosanna, obviously. And so we might be very lucky and find them. This is the time of the day when they start to go hunting. They're called crepuscular hunters, which means they hunt at dawn and at dusk. And a little bit after dusk, so just after it gets dark. But they'll start to move around about now. They'll often come down to water to drink first, and then they'll go off hunting. So that's what we're hoping to find. And the reason we're hoping to find them is that we had them around here earlier this morning. What is going on there? No, it's a stick. Never mind. I saw a stick, everybody. It looked a bit like a wild dog, but it wasn't a wild dog. It was a stick. A thick stick. Yeah, so the biggest predator, mass-wise, that the animals are afraid of here is a lion. A lion is by far the biggest predator that we get here. A big male lion will weigh in the region of 400 pounds or so that's very large. They will be the biggest. After that comes the spotted hyena, weighing in much less, about 200 pounds or so, even less than that. And then comes the leopard, and then comes the wild dog, and then comes the cheetah, and then comes the wild dog. But wild dogs, of course, are in packs, and so they make animals very scared indeed. Much more scared than I think you'd find than they are of leopards. Alrighty, we're going to go up towards a clearing here. They tend to come towards the clearings as they hunt, and they do that because the animals are in the clearings. They come up into the clearings to get away from the thick bush at night, because of course the antelope don't see so well at night. Alrighty, let's go back to Tristan. Hosanna's not too far from here. He'll hope that he doesn't see any wild dogs.
Well, no wild dogs just yet, James. Hopefully they will arrive somewhere. If wild dogs arrive here, we're going to have pandemonium because, well, there's lots of leopards. Now, that's not Hosanna that you see lying there. That's the female leopard called Tundi. So Hosanna is in the tree quite far away, and she's just here busy grooming herself. Her cub was here as well, Kalamba, and they were both around, and she's just cleaning herself up now because she's been kind of walking around this area, picking up little bits and scraps of meat that have been left behind after she's been feeding, and also with the wild dogs that killed it earlier, they kind of left little pieces all over the place, and so that's what she's doing now. She's just cleaning her paws a little bit and making sure she gets any bits of meat or anything like that off them. Leopards have to be very careful about when they feed and cleaning themselves, because bits of blood and meat can, one, attract flies, which are very irritating. Two, it mats their fur and it can lead to, disease and infections and those kind of things, which are never ideal for a leopard. And so that's why they're very good at cleaning themselves. But you can see, look how full she is. She ate a lot during the course of the day. This male leopard only just stole it from her. Now, where she's walking, she's actually heading to where the male leopard is. He's coming out the tree. Hold on. He's going to come out the tree. Let's just quickly get round. This is going to be amazing. We're going to see what happens now. So, Kelly, a leopard will steal a prey animal from a dog because it can come out with its claws and teeth and its size and its aggression, and the dogs will get a fright and they'll run, and then it can grab it and run off. Now, where's the little cub? The little cub was somewhere on the right-hand side here. She's quite big now. She's about 10 months. There she is there. I can actually just see her just behind us. Don't know if you can see her, David. So she's just in the background over there through a little bit to the right, David. There she is, straight. And you can just see her ears in the grass. So there's one leopard, and then we've got the other two that are around. Now you can see she's quite small in comparison to the other leopard. She's got a cute little face. She's a very cute little leopard, and she's one of our favorites. We've been seeing her since she was only about 3-4 weeks old. So we've known her for the majority of her life. She's 10 months old now, and as they're still very small, and she's a bit nervous because of, obviously, there's this male leopard, and Mom is interactions with her growling and hissing makes that her be a little kind of nervous of what's going on. Now, our male leopard might go back into the tree if he sees the female. He's carrying a leg of the impala, so she's here and he's there in front of us. I think he dropped the leg, and that's why he was a bit kind of worried about it being taken by somebody else. And so I wonder how this is all going to play out. But definitely we're seeing all of them kind of coming together. It is absolutely incredible. And the thing is that for you guys, is that you won't actually know this, but leopards are generally solitary. So leopards don't actually like to be around each other. Normally what you find is that a female leopard, she only really spends time with her little cub. That's really only this kind of time that she spends with any other leopard. But then what you'll find is the males are complete loners. So to see 3 leopards like this is a very special thing. It's not something we'll get to see very often, and we have been very fortunate to be able to show you. You guys are lucky. I know lots and lots of people that have been coming on safaris and going to the bush for many years and have not seen a leopard, and you've got to see 3 in one afternoon. It's absolutely amazing. And he's not too worried now. She's going to walk back to her cub, so I'm going to just go and see what she's up to. So, Natalie, leopards eat everything. They are an animal that has the biggest varied sort of diet of all the carnivores. So you'll find that they eat anything from insects, so sometimes they'll eat little bugs, to they'll also eat mice, they'll eat birds, they'll eat mammals like an impala, they'll even eat sometimes as big as baby giraffe or baby elephants. Now look at this, she's right next to us. So she is about 1 meter from the side of the car. Look, there's the car there. So she's sitting very, very, very close to where we are. No, don't go to the toilet. No. She's going to go to the toilet. This is going to be very stinky. It's not nice when they go to the toilets right next to us because it smells very bad. You can imagine something that eats rotting meat when they go to the toilet. It really isn't very pleasant. And so my poor nostrils are going to be catching on fire now as this singes its way down. Very horrible. Anyway, it didn't look like too big a one, so I think we'll be okay. We're just going to have to be careful that we don't drive over it, otherwise it sticks in our tires. Now there comes the little cub, is slowly coming towards where Mom is, so she's calling her. Now, if we listen and we keep quiet for a little bit, you might hear her chuff a little bit. So no, she's just sniffing around, so sometimes she'll make a little sound, or she'll go and she'll do these little soft contact calls. That's to tell her cub everything's okay, you can come closer. It's not easy to hear it. There we go, they're going to join up now. Now, the little cub is just behind the bush there, so they should join each other fairly shortly. Isn't this wonderful? Now, these are my favorite animals, so I'm in absolute heaven when I spend time with them. I love spending time with leopards, and this afternoon has been a real treat. She's still calling. I thought her cub would pop out with her. Anyway, we'll sit and see if Tundi's cub is going to come out and play with Tundi. In the meantime, though, it sounds like Jamie has got a very special little surprise to show you in Masai Mara.
Speaking of little cubs, we've got something very special to show you. A cub that looks to me to be around about 2 or so months old. A spotted hyena cub. How cool is this? This looks like Mum. Hello, girl. Or maybe not. Difficult to tell with spotted hyenas. There are lots and lots of them about. And since we are so close to this den site, I thought I'd bring you here to have a very special look at a hyena clan known as the Happy Zebras, which seems like a very silly name for hyenas, but it is the name that's been given to them by the people who research them. And it actually makes sense when you go into the story. Now, these guys are going to really, really enjoy the arrival of the migration because just like lions, they are apex predators. So everybody always thinks of them as scavengers. They do scavenge, absolutely they do. But here in the Masai Mara, they actually hunt over 95% of what they eat. And not only that, they will not just catch a zebra and eat it, they will eat the bones as well. And that's because they've got very, very powerful jaws that can crush the bones of other animals and make sure that nothing is wasted. So they actually do some very important things out here in the Masai Mara. Now there's lots of hyenas here today. You'll notice that I'm speaking quite softly. That's because these guys aren't as comfortable with vehicles as some of the other hyenas in the Masai Mara. And as I said, there is a tiny little one. Look how cute. Now everybody always hates hyenas, but we here at Safari Live love them, especially the tiny fluffy ones. Now it will start to get its spots at around about 3 months, so it's still got a way to go. Desiree, you want to know